Mila's apartment, 7:28 a.m. Kai came through the front door, keyed entry now, 7 weeks in, and stopped in the doorway. Mila was at the counter in her silk robe, hair loose, holding out a coffee mug, but she didn't hand it over. She just stood there, close, the mug between them, waiting. Kai crossed the kitchen, reached for the mug. Mila's fingers brushed hers as she took it, not accidental, deliberate, slow enough that Kai felt the warmth travel up her arm. "Good morning," Mila said, looking directly at her. Kai's hand tightened on the mug. She looked at the coffee, at the window, anywhere except the bright, warm eyes watching her. "Morning," she managed. Mila smiled, turned back to her own coffee at the counter, but she didn't move away. She stayed right there, close enough that Kai could smell whatever she'd put in her hair, close enough that the silk robe almost brushed Kai's jacket when she reached for the sugar. Kai opened her file, looked at the schedule. The words made no sense. "Quinn's building security flagged no unusual activity overnight," she said. "Professional, controlled. Lot protocols remain standard." Mila was watching her over the rim of her mug. Kai turned a page, still not reading it. "The afternoon shoot runs until 6. I'll coordinate with—" Mila reached past her for a spoon she absolutely did not need, her shoulder against Kai's arm, the silk, warm. Kai's jaw shifted. 2 millimeters. "You're doing that on purpose," she said. "Doing what?" Mila moved back to the counter, all innocence. "The spoon is in the drawer behind you. I prefer this drawer." Kai looked at the back of her head, at her file, at the back of her head again. "We leave in 15 minutes, she said. "I know." Mila glanced back over her shoulder. Plenty of time. She was smiling, that private smile that meant she knew exactly what she was doing and was enjoying every second of it. Kai drank her coffee and tried to remember what the briefing call had said, and failed completely. Stage 4. Morning Call. The lot was the same as always. Crew, moving equipment, actors and makeup, the particular organized chaos of a film set 3 hours into a 12-hour day. Kai took her post outside the stage entrance, eyes on the lot, professional, focused. Mila came out of makeup and walked past her toward the set. Their eyes met, just for a second. Just long enough that something passed between them that had nothing to do with security protocols. Mila looked away first, kept walking, but Kai saw the corner of her mouth. Across the lot, Leyla was watching. She looked at Mila, looked at Kai, looked back at her script with a knowing expression. The morning shoot started. Mila disappeared into stage 4. Kai stayed at her post. But she was aware, in a way she had not let herself be aware before last night, of exactly where Mila was, on set, moving between takes, laughing at something the director said. The sound carried through the stage door, and Kai heard it and felt something shift in her chest that had nothing to do with threat assessment. First break, 10:30 a.m. Mila came out of the stage and walked to the craft services cart. Kai was 20 feet away at her post. Mila picked up a coffee, turned. Their eyes met again. This time, Mila didn't look away. She held Kai's gaze across 20 feet of lot and smiled. Not the press smile, the real one. Kai's hand went to her side. Not quite a fist, just fingers curling in slightly. Mila turned back to the cart, but she was still smiling. Leyla appeared beside Kai, looked at Mila, looked at Kai. "She's in a good mood today," Leyla said conversationally. Kai said nothing, eyes forward. "You are too, actually," Leyla tilted her head. "Different energy, both of you." "I don't know what you're referring to." "Sure you don't," Leyla smiled, walked away. Kai watched the lot, watched Mila talking to the cinematographer, watched her laugh. She was absolutely not thinking about this morning's coffee handoff, or the silk robe, or the way Mila had looked at her across the kitchen. She was thinking about all of it. Lunch break, 1 p.m. The lot was busy, crew breaking for food, actors scattering to their trailers, the midday sun making everything slightly too bright. Kai was walking the perimeter when Mila fell into step beside her. "Taking a walk?" Mila asked, casual. "Perimeter check. Mind if I join you?" "It's a security sweep. I'll be very quiet." Kai glanced at her. Mila looked back, all innocence except for the eyes. They walked. The lot stretched out around them, buildings, stages, equipment, far enough from the main crew area that it was quieter here, more private. Mila's hand swung slightly as she walked. It brushed Kai's. Once, accidental. Twice, less accidental. The third time, Kai's fingers caught hers, just for a second, just long enough to squeeze once before letting go. Mila's breath changed. They kept walking, neither of them said anything, but Mila's hand was warm where Kai had touched it, and Kai's pulse was doing something that had nothing to do with perimeter checks. "You're not very good at this," Mila said eventually. "At what?" "Pretending nothing's different." Kai looked straight ahead. "Everything's the same." "Kai, the job is the job." "The job is the job," Mila agreed, "but you looked at me 4 times during the morning shoot through the stage door. I was monitoring. You were looking." Mila's voice was warm. "I was looking too." They reached the east lot entrance, turned back toward the stages. "We can't," Kai started. "I know." Mila's hand brushed hers again, deliberate. "Not here, not where people can see." She glanced sideways. "But tonight." Kai's jaw shifted. "Tonight, when we're alone." "Mila, I'm just saying." Mila smiled, walked ahead, called back over her shoulder. "Trailer, 5 minutes. Come check the locks." She disappeared around the corner toward her trailer. Kai stood on the lot and looked at nothing, and her hands were not quite fists, and this was going to be a very long afternoon. Mila's trailer, 20 minutes later. Kai knocked. Professional, standard protocol. "Come in," Mila called. Kai opened the door and stepped inside. The trailer was small. Couch, makeup station, rack of costumes for the shoot. Mila was standing by the window, script in hand, completely at ease. "Checking the locks," Kai said. "Are you?" "Standard protocol after lunch break." "Of course." Mila set the script down. "How are they?" Kai checked the window latch, the door. "Everything secure." "Fine," she said. "Good." Mila didn't move. "Anything else you need to check?" Kai turned around. Mila was leaning against the makeup counter, arms loosely crossed, looking at her with the expression that said she knew exactly what she was doing. "The trailer is secure," Kai said. "Good." They looked at each other across the small space. "We're alone," Mila said quietly, "for approximately 4 minutes before you're called back to set." 4 minutes. Mila pushed off the counter, crossed the space. That's a long time. She was right there now, close, looking up at Kai with the bright, warm eyes that had been watching her all day. Kai's hands stayed at her sides. "No one can see us," Mila said. "The door is closed, the windows have blinds. We have 4 minutes." Her hand came up to the front of Kai's jacket. "What are we going to do with 4 minutes?" Kai looked at her, at the hand on her jacket, at the face tilted up toward hers. "This is a terrible idea," she said. "Probably. Someone could knock. They definitely will. This is completely unprofessional. Completely." Mila's hand slid up to Kai's collar. "Are you going to kiss me or keep listing reasons why you shouldn't?" Kai put her hand at the side of Mila's face, leaned down, kissed her. Mila made a soft sound and kissed her back, and her hands fisted in Kai's jacket, pulling her closer, and the trailer was small and warm and completely private, and neither of them was thinking about protocols or timelines or anything except this. Kai's other hand found Mila's waist, pulled her in. Mila's back hit the counter, and she didn't care, because Kai was kissing her like she'd been thinking about it all day, and Mila had been thinking about it all day, and 4 minutes was not enough time, but they were going to use every second. Mila's hands slid into Kai's hair. Kai's mouth moved to her jaw, her neck. Mila's head tilted back. Kai! A knock on the door. They froze. Mila, a PA's voice, cheerful, completely oblivious. You're needed on set in 5. Mila's eyes were still closed. Kai was still against her, both of them breathing hard. Copy that, Mila called, her voice almost steady. Be right there. Footsteps walking away. Mila opened her eyes, looked at Kai. Kai was looking back, her hands still on Mila's waist, her expression somewhere between professional composure and complete abandon, and failing at both. 4 minutes, Mila said, breathless. Not enough. No. Mila's thumb traced Kai's jaw. But tonight, Kai agreed. She stepped back, fixed her jacket, professional composure sliding back into place like armor. Mila watched her do it, smiled. Your hair, she said. Kai's hand went to the bun. Is it perfect now? Mila was still smiling. You should go. I need 2 minutes to look like I wasn't just... She gestured vaguely. Right. Kai moved to the door. Stopped. Looked back. Mila was leaning against the counter, flushed, hair slightly messed, looking at her like she was already thinking about tonight. See you after the shoot, Mila said. Kai opened the door, looked at the lot, looked back at her one more time. Then she walked out into the afternoon sun and went back to her post, and absolutely did not think about the trailer for the rest of the day.
The afternoon was endless. Mila was on set, Kai was at her post. The space between them was 20 feet and felt like miles. But every time Mila came out between takes, their eyes found each other. Every time. During the 3 p.m. water break, Mila walked past Kai to get to her trailer. Their hands brushed. Brief, deliberate. Kai's fingers closed where Mila's had been. Across the lot, Leyla watched them and shook her head with a smile. At 4:30, Mila did a scene that required her to laugh on camera. The director called cut and she kept laughing, the real one, low and warm. She glanced toward the stage door where Kai was standing. Their eyes met. Kai's hand went into her pocket, not a fist, just needing somewhere to be. At 5:45, the director called wrap for the day. The crew started breaking down. Mila disappeared into her trailer to change. Kai waited by the car. 10 minutes later, Mila emerged in her off-duty clothes, fitted jeans, soft sweater, hair down. She walked across the lot with her bag, and Kai watched every step. She reached the car, looked at Kai over the roof. Hi, she said. Hi. They got in. Mila opened the front passenger door. Kai didn't comment, just started the engine. They pulled out of the lot in silence. The city stretched ahead of them. 40 minutes in evening traffic. 5 minutes in, Mila shifted in her seat, angled toward Kai. Long day, she said. Standard shoot day. Was it? Mila's hand moved from her lap to the console between them. Felt different to me. Kai's hands tightened on the wheel. Mila? What? I'm driving. I know. Mila's hand moved from the console to Kai's thigh, rested there, light, warm, completely deliberate. Kai's breath changed. You're distracting me, she said. Am I? From the road. Eyes on the road then. Mila's fingers moved slightly. Not much, just enough. Kai's jaw shifted. If you keep doing that, we're going to have a problem. What kind of problem? The kind where I pull over. And then what? Mila's voice was soft. Kai glanced at her, the bright, warm eyes, the small smile. Eyes on the road, Mila reminded her. Sweet, innocent. Kai looked back at the windshield. The city lights were coming on. Traffic was moderate. Her entire focus should be on the road.
Mila's hand was still on her thigh, and her entire focus was absolutely not on the road. 35 minutes, Kai said. Quiet, controlled. What? We're 35 minutes from your apartment. Mila looked at her profile, the jaw, the hands white-knuckled on the wheel. 35 minutes, she said. Yes. Mila's hand squeezed once, then moved back to her own lap. Kai exhaled. They drove the rest of the way in silence, but the space between them was charged with everything unsaid, and Mila watched the city go by and thought about the trailer and the morning coffee, and 35 minutes that felt like hours. Neither of them moved their hands again, but neither of them stopped thinking about it. Kai swept the apartment in 3 minutes flat. Came back to the living room. Mila was in the kitchen, pulling ingredients from the fridge. "Stay for dinner," Mila said. Kai. Mila looked at her. "Stay." Kai put her phone down, sat at the kitchen table. Mila moved around the kitchen, bare feet, soft clothes, hair down, completely herself. Kai watched her the way she had been not watching her all day, directly now, with nothing held back. Mila felt the weight of it, looked over her shoulder. "You're staring," she said. "Yes. You never stare. I'm off duty." "Are you?" Kai looked at her. "For the next," she glanced at her watch, "hour and 40 minutes before I need to file the incident report, yes." Mila smiled, went back to chopping vegetables, but her hands weren't quite steady. They ate at the table. The food was good. The conversation was easy on the surface. Mila telling a story about the AD getting lost in the prop warehouse, Kai mentioning something from the morning briefing. But underneath it was the awareness, the way Mila's fingers lingered on her wine glass, the way Kai watched her mouth when she talked. After dinner, Kai cleared the plates. Mila made tea neither of them wanted. They ended up in the living room, Mila on the couch, Kai beside her. Not touching, not yet. "I thought about you all day," Mila said. Quiet, direct. "I know. You thought about me too." "Yes." "The trailer was 4 minutes," Kai said. "Not enough." Mila turned to face her. "We have more than 4 minutes now." "Yes." "The sweep is done. The door is locked. Quinn is contained." Mila's hand came up to Kai's face. "We're alone." Kai looked at her, at the bright, warm eyes that had been watching her for 7 weeks, at the hand on her face, at everything she had been managing and controlling and holding back. "I don't have a protocol for this," she said quietly. "Good." Mila leaned in. "I don't want your protocol." She kissed her. Slow. Certain. Kai kissed her back, and her hands found Mila's waist and pulled her closer, and the couch was warm, and the lamp was on, and neither of them was thinking about protocols or timelines or anything except this. Mila's hands slid into Kai's hair. Kai's moved to her back, pulling her in. When they broke apart, Mila's breathing had changed. "Bedroom," she said. Kai nodded. Mila stood, held out her hand. Kai took it. The bedroom was warm, lamplight soft through the doorway. Mila turned to face Kai, reached for the buttons of her jacket. "Let me," she said. Kai's hands stayed at her sides, letting her. Mila undid each button slowly, pushed the jacket off Kai's shoulders. It fell. Then her hands went to Kai's collar, the shirt buttons underneath. Kai watched her face, the concentration, the deliberate care. "I've been thinking about this," Mila said, not looking up, "for weeks." "I know. You have too." "Yes." The shirt came off, joined the jacket on the floor. Mila's hands moved to the hem of her own sweater. Kai's hands came up to help. The sweater came off slow. They stood there, looking at each other. "You're always so controlled,"
Mila said quietly, her hands on Kai's shoulders. Always so careful, so measured. Kai's hands found Mila's waist. Yes. I don't want that right now. Mila looked up at her. I want you, without the control, without the protocol. Kai's hands tightened. Mila. Let go, Mila said. Just for tonight, just with me. Kai looked at her for one long moment. Then she kissed her. Different from the living room, different from the trailer. This was 7 weeks of professional distance and careful management and absolute control, finally breaking. Mila made a sound and kissed her back, and they moved toward the bed, still kissing, hands finding skin, urgency building. They fell onto the bed, and Kai's mouth moved to Mila's neck, and Mila's hands were in her hair, and the rest of their clothes came off in a tangle of fabric, and neither of them was being careful anymore. Kai's hand slid down Mila's side, over her hip, lower. Mila's breath caught. Kai, don't stop. Kai kissed her. Her hand kept moving, learning, discovering. All the care she brought to everything that mattered, directed here, at Mila, who was warm and real and completely herself underneath her. Mila's hands mapped Kai's back, her shoulders, pulling her closer. More. Kai gave her more, gave her everything. The control finally gone. Just this, just them. Mila's breathing changed, her hands tightened, Kai's name on her lips like something between a prayer and a demand. When Mila came apart underneath her, Kai watched her face and memorized every second of it. After, Mila pulled Kai down beside her, kissed her, slow and thorough. Then her hands started moving, learning Kai the way Kai had learned her. Kai's breath hitched. You don't have to. I want to. Mila's mouth against her jaw. Let me. So Kai let her. Let herself be discovered, be vulnerable, be something other than controlled and professional and measured. Just herself, with Mila, in the warm dark with the lamp still on and the city outside, and none of it mattering, except this. When it was over, they lay tangled together, breathing hard, neither of them moving. Hi, Mila said, soft. Hi. You let go. I did. Good. Mila kissed her shoulder. You should do that more often. Kai laughed. Actually laughed. Mila felt it against her and smiled into Kai's skin.
Later. The room quiet. The city settled outside. They'd moved under the covers, Mila on her back, Kai beside her. You're different, Mila said, looking at the ceiling. Different how? Quieter, in a good way. Mila turned her head, like something that was always running finally stopped. Kai looked at her. Yes. Does it feel strange? No. Kai reached out, tucked hair behind Mila's ear. It feels like it should have felt all along. Mila smiled, turned onto her side to face her. Tomorrow, the job is the job, Kai said. The threat is real. Quinn is still out there. None of that changes. I know. I'm still your protection officer. I know that too. Mila's hand on Kai's face. But you're also this, and I want both. Kai looked at her. Something in her expression that was past composure, past management, just honest. Okay, she said. Okay. Mila turned over. Kai moved behind her. Her arm came around. They lay like that, the apartment warm and quiet around them. Kai, Mila said, into the dark. Yeah? Thank you for staying. Thank you for asking me too. Mila smiled, closed her eyes, and somewhere between the warmth and the quiet and Kai's arm around her, she fell asleep. Kai stayed awake longer, looking at the dark, at the woman in her arms, at everything that had changed in 7 weeks, and particularly in the last 24 hours. The job was still the job, but this was real too, and for the first time in 9 years of professional distance and careful control, Kai let herself have both.